fund by one group like the Wayana clique to try to create conflict I go back to probably the early 90s, even before the conference that was held in Addis in 1992. And we pushed for one idea. And I go back again to justify what I will have to say about the point he raised, because our wish and our desire was the withdrawal and other political organizations we worked with. Of course, the Somalis were not there. The Afewerki, they had their own reality then. Before the creation of the OPDO by the Wayana within the EPLF umbrella, we said that is not the way. You have the OLF, you have the other Amhara organizations or the multinational organizations, and you have an organization. There has to be some form of alliance. I was considering a triangle which could be a starter for including the other groups. The rift on the approach was very clear. Wayana never wanted that to be the case. They never wanted to have an alliance with the other organizations that were then prevailing as real political organizations. They wanted to create this umbrella of the EPRDF to control the organizations of the other nationalities. Under the umbrella of the EPRDF, there would be an Amhara organization which could be easily manipulated by the Wayana clique. There could be an Oromo organization within this umbrella which could also be manipulated by the Wayana clique. That option was a strategic choice for the Wayana clique. Our strategic choice was those existing organizations will have to put the basic foundation for the future cooperation of organizations. And there was no bias or partiality in dealing with all organizations, in spite of the reality on the ground. That is very significant. In terms of what we talk about Arbeños, other Amhara organizations, as if Eritrea has a closer relationship with the Tigrayans and very remote relationship with the other nationalities in Ethiopia. This is a deliberate distortion of reality. It's a distortion of history. Who would benefit by creating this kind of relationship? You can talk about proximity, you can talk about geography, you can talk about other considerations, real politics of the 1974-91 era, how things evolved, who was there and how we could establish. We had to go through the Sudanese territory and work with the Oromo in the Wallaga area. And we had to work with them to see that some form of God. Never ever was this entertained by the Wayana clique. They felt it was a threat for them to come and work with the other nationality organizations or the multinational organizations who did not even recognize the national organization of struggle within Ethiopia. That is very significant. Now, they may tell people, oh, this is the case. It may have been implicitly indicated to some of the Amhara organizations. I don't call Amhara organizations. They may be multinational organizations. They are not there to represent one small clique. We have never believed a small clique could represent the people of Tigray. That could be transitional. There could be national organizations as transitional organizations. You can never imagine of having permanent organizations representing exclusive nationalities in Ethiopia. This has never been our school of thought. It's never been entertained by us. It's only transitional. Given the fact of history, you can have national organizations, but gradually these national organizations will have to come together to work. 1992 and before that, when we were proposing that some kind of alliance needs to be established, even before the downfall of the DER. After that, in 1992, this idea came, because that was a strategic choice for the Wayane. And that's one of the political damage done in Ethiopia. Have we changed? We cannot change. I would not imagine and dream about organizations closed into particular nationalities in Ethiopia. That will never be to the benefit of Ethiopia or to the benefit of any. You may fight for the right of one nationality. You may think one nationality is marginalized and will have to go beyond that and establish its equal citizenship, equal rights and freedoms with the other nationalities. That could be transitional. If you look down the road and can imagine the reality in Ethiopia after 20, 30 years, I wouldn't like to see national organizations working within Ethiopia. It's not the kind of thing we entertain. I would do it here in this country. I would want to see the Sudanese do it, dividing the Sudan into national entities and having national organizations representing the people in each and every sub-region or region. I wouldn't like to see that happen anywhere else in Africa. It shouldn't happen in Ethiopia. Yes, national organizations, because of circumstance, of history, because of realities, you can go beyond certain limits, but that's not a permanent structure. Anyone in Ethiopia, Amharas, Oromos, Tigrayans, Somalis, Afaris, whatever, if they think these national institutions will continue to live for generations, we'll be making a big historical mistake. And we've been very clear on this matter. We do not consider Tigrayans are more closer to us than the Amharas or the Somalis are closer to us because of this and that political circumstance, and we favor one group against the other. This is not our history, this is not our culture, and it won't serve any purpose in Ethiopia and cannot even serve any good to the people here. We're talking about Eritrea-Ethiopia partnership. It should be understood within this context. So if there are Amharas who believe that Eritrea will abandon them anytime, tomorrow, or anytime today, because of this and that considerations, I would say they're still becoming a hostage of the distortions of history and the machinations that happen every day to incite suspicion, because suspicion is a weapon for the Wayane clique, and I can imagine why they use it, because it's part of their side. And people will have to clearly understand this. Amharas or non-Amharas will have to be clear on this matter. I can go back and see the reality, because it's as if we believe, and I have contested not even Ethiopians but also Eritreans who've had this fantasy or even fear that we can only survive by weakening Ethiopia. One or two maybe, but it's been there. It's philosophical, but politically it has a meaning. I have always said this is not our school of thought. We never come from this direction. Dividing and weakening is a weapon for the weak, for those who are not confident of themselves. We have always believed that we can live side by side with a strong and powerful Ethiopia. Why? Because a united and strong Ethiopia, to me, is strength. The threat is probably nostalgic if you look at it from the historical perspective, because people think if Ethiopia is ruled by someone who wants to invade neighbors, who wants to suppress his own people, who wants to be friendly to outside powers and be instrumental to the implementation of outside. This is history. And people would like to not forget this and try to associate united, strong Ethiopia with a threat. The question is, without making the government here the target of this thinking, which is not true, is a strong, united Ethiopia a threat to Eritrea? Ask me this very simple question. I have never ever imagined this threat in my mind at all. We have worked with Ethiopian organizations not to divide them. We have worked with all Ethiopian organizations because we felt independent Eritrea with a new Ethiopia will start a new chapter of partnership. And that has been one of the pillars of our strategy. If Ethiopia is for Ethiopians, and if Ethiopia is united and strong, united meaning all Ethiopians agree to live together in peace and build a nation for generations to come.